Hi everybody, welcome to the GenAI Nerd channel, and in this video I want to explain you how you can build skills in Copilot. And first of all, I will briefly explain what we actually mean by skills. Then I will show you how you can easily build skills in kind of the standard version of Copilot. And finally, I will also show you how you can do skill building in the newest Copilot Cowork. So let's get started. Yes, so recently in different tools like Cloud Cowork and also Codex of OpenAI, you have been able to start building skills. And what do we exactly mean by skills? So skills are kind of capabilities that you can give to your AI. So if you on a regular basis have to conduct a certain activity that requires a kind of specific capability, you can build a skill. And fundamentally, skill is simply a document, a text document, an MD document that will give instructions to the AI how to execute this capability. And in OpenAI, using Codex or in Cloud, it's actually quite straightforward to build skills. In Copilot, I would say it's still a bit more challenging, but it is possible. And I want to show you today two ways to do so. And the first way on how to build skills is to simply go to the normal Copilot and build a skill as an attachment. Yes, so now I'm in my Copilot in my normal account. And now I simply have started a new chat and I've copy-pasted this prompt into my chat, and the prompt will also be available in the descriptions of this video. So this is a kind of standardized prompt where I'm saying, read some of the recent emails that I have sent to other people. As a linguistic expert, conduct a careful analysis of the structure of the email, tone of voice, and recurring sentence of structures. Based on this, create a skill.md file. And in order to do so, look at the most recent information on how to create a skill.md file. So this is the prompt that I'm using. And then actually Copilot, and this is the nice thing of Copilot, it's really integrated with your inbox. So it's able to go into your inbox, read some recent emails, and then it kind of has done a linguistic analysis of my emails. And in that way, it was indeed able to create a skill.md file according to kind of the standards that exist. And so this is now a document that describes my tone of voice when reading emails. So let me briefly show you how that document looks like. Yes, so this is how the skill.md looks like. So it has a kind of standard format. It always starts with a name. And so the name of my skill is Dries Vlaams email writer. Then there will be a kind of short description of what is the purpose of this skill. And then there will be a more extensive description of what this skill needs to do, what is the purpose, what kind of style does this skill need to use, and so on. And so this is then a skill that will help me to write emails in my tone of voice. So let me now show you how you can actually use this skill in Copilot. Yeah, so now I use as use case an email that I've sent to myself. So I've sent from a different email address an email to myself where I say, please do not forget that we have a meeting Monday at 5 p.m. And of course, now I could here enable Copilot and ask it to write a response. But as you might have noticed, the responses tend to be quite strong AI language, not really in your tone of voice. So let me now show you how we can use our skill to give a more authentic answer. Yes, so I'm now again in the normal Copilot. I simply started a new chat and now I'm writing here, answer the most recent email from driesvlaams@gmail.com, confirming the meeting, but indicating that I'm likely to be 15 minutes late. And then I explicitly say, use the tone of voice as described in the skill. And now I will attach my skill.md document that we just created as an attachment to the skill. So now I will simply go to my downloads and then I simply add the skill as a download and then I can press enter. And now actually it should be able to read my email because that's what Copilot can do very well. And then it should use the skill to give me a customized answer. Yes, and now you see it has produced this answer and you actually can see it's a very clean and straightforward answer. And that's, to be honest, how I write my emails, which is actually very different from how Copilot would normally write emails. So in that way, you see it now really applies the kind of direct and concise style in which I write emails. But there is also a more advanced way on how to do it in Copilot, but then you need a specific app, namely the Copilot Cowork app. So let me briefly show you how that works. Yeah, so when you're in Copilot, you can go here to agents and then you can go to the agent store. And nowadays Copilot has an agent called Cowork. And this is actually where Copilot starts acting like Cloud Cowork or Codex, more or less. And this is actually the place where you can build skills much more easy. Now, actually, for a lot of people, I think this app might not be enabled in their working environment because administrators need to give you access. And this actually only works when your corporate has given the allowance to also use Cloud models in Copilot. So nowadays, even Copilot can use Cloud models, but that needs to be enabled by your employer. And then you can start using Cowork. So I expect that for a lot of you, this might not be available. Then you have to reach out to your administration. But so in my case now, I have Cowork. And if I click on that, I go into a specific environment where it will become much more easier to build skills. So let me briefly show you how you can do it. Yes, so when you have been able to enable Copilot Cowork somewhere on your computer, in my case, it was simply my documents folder, a Cowork folder will be automatically generated. And then in this folder, you yourself should create a folder that you call skills, like this. And the moment you have created that, you can start creating skills quite easily in Copilot Cowork. So let me show you that. Yes, so now I'm in my Copilot Cowork. And now I used again the same prompt that I used before. So I asked it to take a look at some emails and create a skill.md file. But now actually it automatically then put that skill.md file into my skill folder for Cowork. And then I can always use that skill without having to upload it as an attachment. So then I have to just write in a prompt, write an email in my voice, and then that skill will be automatically enabled. And that's really like it would be in Codex of OpenAI or Cloud Cowork. Yeah, so if you have the Copilot Cowork, it becomes much easier to create and use skills. But even if you don't have access to that, which today might actually be the case for quite some people, you can still do it by simply using the skill as an attachment to your chat. So I hope this can help you to start using skills in Copilot. If this video was interesting for you, please don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for your attention. Bye.